your mental health matters live Zoom. I know some of you guys might just be wrapping up lunch or going to lunch, it's the middle of the day. So we do want to appreciate you for just taking the time out to join in on this conversation. So today's conversation is all about mental health and the professional space that you're in, especially the challenges that come with being a modern day professional and really keeping it all together. So whether you're juggling multiple roles or you feel like that burnout is creeping in, that always creeps in, or you're just really here to hear some tools or resources, we hope that you can gather some great takeaways. So before we get started, I'll introduce myself for anyone who does not know me. My name is Shanae Joyner, and I'm a certified life coach. But most importantly, I support dreams and visions with all things marketing. But I know you guys are not here for me, so I would love to introduce Dr. LaShonda, who is a licensed mental health expert who has been doing some incredible work with dozens, if not hundreds, of people, he, helping them heal in all aspects of their life. So without further ado, welcome, Dr. LaShonda. Thank you so much for joining in on this conversation. If you don't mind, you can
Yes.
share a little bit about yourself for anyone who doesn't know you.
Yes, thank you so much. I am LaShonda. I'm a licensed professional counselor, the CEO of Dreams and Visions, and the founder of Heal. I absolutely love what I get to do in helping individuals and families heal from whatever may be going on in their life. I do like to use a holistic approach where we're healing the mind, the body, and the spirit because they are all connected. Um, and yeah, I'm just excited to be here today and be able to share with you all and talk about balancing out your professionalism and mental health. So I'm excited about this conversation.
Yes, thank you so much. And just one quick housekeeping rule. So just please stay muted while we are having this discussion. We will have a time at the end where we let you guys come off mute or put your questions or comments in the chat. So let's get started, and I'll dive right into our first question. So my first question for you, Dr. LaShonda, is when people say mental health, it could mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. So from your perspective, what does mental health really mean? And then also, what does mental health mean in a professional setting?
Okay. So in general, right, just to simplify it as much as I possibly can, mental health is taking care of your mind. Taking care of what's going on in your brain, those feelings that you're feeling, the emotions that you're feeling, that is going to be connected to your mental health. Now, there is a big difference that I want to point out between caring for your mental health and trying to achieve wellness versus mental illness or mental health diagnosis. So those can take treatment. Those can take longer periods of time to gain healing from. But when you're just talking about mental health, it's just making sure that your mind is in a place of clarity and peace. Not necessarily having higher level diagnosis when we get into mental illness. That means you have higher level diagnosis that require some intensive treatment.
Thank you for really sharing the difference between mental health and mental illness. But I feel like we don't really talk about the differences enough. So mental health is really just that the mind having clarity and peace. Um,
Yes.
so thank you
And
for sharing.
another piece of that to help people kind of understand, think about your physical health. You go to the doctor for checkups regularly, right? But that doesn't mean that there is necessarily an issue. You go to those checkups just to make sure that you're okay and that you're overall well. Versus if you have a diagnosis, if you were diagnosed with cancer or diabetes, then you're going to go to the doctor more often. And there's going to be intentional treatment of those diagnoses. So just know mental health really similar to just the uh, consistent but not too often check-ins that you would do with a medical doctor. So those annual checkups, right? Versus if you were needing treatment for a specific diagnosis, you see the medical doctor much more often.
Right. So would you say that your mental health personally and professionally are somewhat the same?
They are so connected. Like, yes. So your mental health in terms of professionalism is definitely going to be impacted by what's going on personally and vice versa. In your personal life, your mental health is going to be impacted by what you're doing professionally. So you may want to try to really just kind of like, oh no, these are separate pieces of myself, but they are really connected there. So you want to make sure that in general, your mental health is in a place where you can balance the two or
Yeah.
attempt to create as much balance as you can.
A solid advice. Thank you so much. So I know that you work with a lot of people across a lot of different industries and backgrounds. So how have you seen today's work culture affect people's mental
Mhm.
illness?
Yeah, so this can have heavier impacts than most of us tend to understand. I have had connections, colleagues, therapists that I have known have passed away from stressors,
Wow.
ultimately work related. They were, and of course, I'm no medical doctor, so I can't say this cause their was their cause of death. But when they had one person had a heart attack, another one had a stroke.
Mhm.
And it was at a time that I knew both of them were experiencing high levels of stress in the workplace. So, y'all, this conversation, it may seem like, oh, yeah, let's just talk about it a little bit. Like, no, this conversation could be life or death for you, literally. Learning how to balance and make sure that your mental health is intact is that important that you like it literally could lead to an earlier death, and that's not what we want. We want you to live as long as possible. So today I definitely want to take some time and talk through what that looks like, how we can avoid allowing our stressors to become that high. And I'll just even be transparent in myself. I've had some physical health issues, things. At one point, I was having muscle spasms, like in the side of my neck. And I'm like, what is going on? And it was stressors. It was stress. I did not realize, y'all, that I was that stressed out. And this was some things that were going on in my personal life. But again, it starts to impact everything because now I'm in so much pain I can't really work. Can't see clients like this. I'm literally in debilitating pain on the left side of my body. And once I was able to recognize, like, wait, maybe I was experiencing more stress than I even recognized, then I was able to intentionally make sure that I was relaxing, release some of the weight that I had put on myself,
Mhm.
and then I was able to see some changes in my body, the pain starting to go away. But yes, I can't stress how connected your mind and your body and your spirit are. Things start going on in your mind and it's just rolling around. You got anxiety creeping up. And now you're trying to figure out, well, why am I having these headaches? Why am I having these muscle spasms? Why are things popping up in my physical body? And they can very much so be connected.
Yes, I love the holistic approach that you take because it is so true that it starts in one place, but it's gonna manifest throughout the rest of like your body and your life as well. And yes, stress is actually killing us,
Yes,
which is scary.
literally.
Um, so I think a lot of us normalize stress, like we don't really know like how to really balance that or how to avoid it in a sense or really take care of ourselves. Um, and we also don't take the PTO that, is allotted to us. We wait to the end of the year and we still have several days or maybe even weeks left and we didn't take that time for ourselves. So, which 0 out of 10, don't ever recommend you do that.
No.
But
Oh my goodness. Can I speak to
yes,
those people real quick? If you have PTO that you are letting expire at the end of the year, oh my goodness, I need to have a talk with you. Call me because I have been an independent contractor for a long time now. I don't have the luxury of having PTO. So please, if you have that as a benefit, use it. They give it to you for a reason. Now, all of our jobs may not seem that they really care about our wellness, but there are some protective factors kind of already built in. Your benefits, you usually have like EAP at work, you have PTO, you have sick days built in. That doesn't have to be your sick days doesn't necessarily have to mean that physically you're sick. Like could be emotionally overwhelmed and I need to take a sick day or I need to use a PTO day for my own mental wellness. And please, if you have those benefits, use all of them to your advantage.
yes, that was words from the wise. So can you speak on some misconceptions that professionals have just about stress and burnout? I know sometimes I hear that people think that sometimes not working hard is a sign of like weakness. So can you kind of speak to just some misconceptions about being stressed and like making it feel normal?
Yes, I have two pieces I'm going to hit on with this question. One, we will say I can sleep when I die.
Mm.
That work culture where it's like, let me hustle my way to success. Y'all, it doesn't work. If you are living by that motto, I can sleep when I die. And I know y'all, it is even become a part of some of our cultures. We hear it in songs and like, oh yeah, I'll sleep when I die. You're actually leaning in, hear me. You're actually going to die earlier if you're not getting enough rest. So you thinking, oh, let me just work nonstop. I'll get my rest when I die. Your body is going to shut down on you. And there are studies, there's research. You're taking time off of your life, literally. So that hustle culture, I need y'all to release it. God rested on the seventh day, and I need us to take some rest too. So make sure that you are prioritizing your sleep and your rest. So that's a misconception. Like I can make up for it later. And even if
Right.
you're not saying that I'll sleep when I die, if you're just saying, I have, these reports due and I know I'm not going to get any rest for a week, that's not okay. You need to figure out some ways to get you some rest in there, or your body is going to tell you, like, hey, I didn't like how you just treated me. You'll feel it. So you can avoid that by making sure that you incorporate rest and sleep, healthy sleep patterns into that. And then the second thing is we tend to think, as we do with other things, it won't happen to me.
Mhm.
I won't burn out. I'm all right. I can push through. We don't know that it can be us until it is us. It can be you. So don't try to remove yourself from burnout, being overworked, from that being a possible part of the equation. It can. And if you don't take the proper measures in the beginning, it's even more likely that you're going to at some point feel the burnout, feel overwhelmed, and not know what to do in that moment. Versus if you intentionally work to avoid that, you can work through smaller bouts of feeling overwhelmed versus this one big what now looks like a crisis if you wait until you're at the point of burnout.
Right. Burnout is so tricky because you're right. A lot of us do think that we are invincible and like it won't happen to us. But I do
Mhm.
think that um, just like managing it is really key. Just figuring out what really works for you so that you don't get burnt out. And that rest
Mhm.
aspect is really important too because you can't pour from an empty cup. Like you
You can't.
have to say.
That's good. You cannot pour from an empty cup.
Yes, yes. People are, or different aspects of your life, like people are depending on you, and like you can't provide any results if you're depleted. So yeah, that's really important.
Mhm.
So what are some early signs that someone is struggling with their mental health at work? Even if they like come to work and they like are acting normal, but what can you see?
So, some of those things can be thinking about mind, body, and spirit. Some of those things can look very different depending on the person. Now, it can be changes in behaviors and mood. So it's starting off just like, I don't even want to be around people. I used to love being around people. I used to enjoy, coming into work in the mornings. And now I'm like, I don't really want to be here. That could be a beginning sign that you are not headed in the right direction and you might be struggling with your mental health at work. Another piece could be decreased productivity. Your motivation is like dwindling down. You're like, I don't want to do this. I am waiting to the last minute to get things done. The quality of my work isn't what it used to be. Like, I am not completing tasks in the way that maybe past supervisors or managers were used to seeing your quality of work. When you're having difficulty concentrating, like I can't stay focused. I know this project is due and I just simply can't find the motivation to sit here and concentrate and get it done. I'm getting distracted and pulled over here. I'm distracting myself. Again, those are going to be signs that you may be struggling with your mental health at work. Then physical symptoms can start to come into play. You got the headaches, the fatigue. I am tired. I went to sleep for 7 to 8 hours and I woke up still tired. That's not normal, y'all. So we want to make sure that when we start to see these physical symptoms, we're paying attention because our body is trying to tell us something. Listen to your body. When you're becoming more sick than often, physical stress can lower your immune system. And so then you're like, why? I just had a cold. Now I got another cold. And like, what's going on? Your immune system has been compromised by the high levels of stress. And so now you're sick more often and you're trying to figure out what's going on. Those can be signs, physical symptoms that are signs as well. And then overworking or avoiding altogether. So either I am going to work so that I don't feel the stressors or whatever emotions come with that, or I'm going to avoid it altogether. Like, yeah, let me just take some time off and not come to work, or I'm going to sit in my office, but I know it's this one project I need to get done today and I'm just avoiding it. So overworking and avoidance can also be some signs that you're struggling with your mental health at work.
Okay. I really like this question was one of my favorites because I think that a lot of us experience these things and we
Mhm.
think that it's normal, and nothing is wrong. But now that you have pointed out these symptoms, what should we do next? Do you think that they are serious enough for us to seek help? Or should we do like some like self work? Or should we reach out for help? What should we do?
Yeah, definitely use your resources. And so that's going to look different for every person, but use your resources. That could be using those benefits at work. Asking your manager, do we have EAP? Can I use some of those sessions because I'm starting to recognize some signs that I'm getting burnt out. I'm starting to recognize that my mental health, my wellness is not okay, and I want to get ahead of that. So seeking help, your circle, the people around you, the people that live in your house with you, if you have a family that and people living with you, even roommates, asking them, hey, have you noticed any changes in me? Because sometimes they can point out the things that we didn't even notice, and using them as kind of a gauge, and both asking them to help you and hold you accountable. Those are things that you want to start to put in place when you see these symptoms rising up. Get a therapist. It's okay to go to therapy. It is okay to start to create boundaries at work so that you're not experiencing those high level of stressors. So yes, be unapologetic about it, but use every resource that you can come up with that will help you with managing what's going on.
Okay, that was really great advice. And you kind of just hit on um, my next question, which was about setting boundaries. So obviously, setting boundaries can be a tool that you use when you are experiencing, these feelings of burnout or stress at work. So how can someone start creating boundaries without feeling
Yes,
guilty as a professional?
yes. And I get that question often. How do I do it without feeling guilty? I'm going to tell you, if you feel guilty, still do it anyway. You might not be able to get rid of that emotion, that feeling of guilt right away. It might take some time, right? So don't let that stop you. You have to recognize that setting boundaries is going to be a necessity. The same way I say rest is a necessity. Setting boundaries is also a necessity. You have every right to say, hey, you know what? I am going to make some changes. You can make this known in the workplace. I'm going to make some changes because I need to set some boundaries for my own wellness. Now, the same way that I help families when they are learning to set boundaries with each other, I tell them to start with a clear conversation, letting people know, the family know that we're going to make some changes because that helps. So same thing in the workplace, right? You got your work family. You are going to say, "Hey, you guys, I'm trying to do better." That can be as informal as, we're at a team meeting and maybe at the end I say that, you know what, guys, I'm working on my wellness and I want to be able to set boundaries with my time. And so here's what I'm going to be changing. Or it could be in an email. Email your team and say, hey, I'm going to make these changes so that they aren't shocked by the changes that you're about to make. And just start to set small boundaries. I'm not going to check my email after 6 p.m., not opening it. I know at one point I just deleted the whole email app, the whole Gmail from my phone. I am not checking it. You have the ability. Our technology is so advanced. You can set all types of parameters. The notifications don't have to pop up. I cut that off years ago. That I am not getting notifications for emails. No, no, not the way my life is set up. I would get nonstop notifications. So those are off. I only check my email when I intentionally go in to look at it. And I do that a few times a day. So it's not like I'm neglecting my work, but I just don't have the anxiety that comes with my phone dinging all day. So start there, small, clear boundaries of what's going to change. Inform your team of what you're trying to do. You might be surprised they might even support you in it. You might
Yeah.
get a community that is going to help you with making sure that you prioritize your wellness. Because when you explain that to a team, then they can say, "Oh, you know what? I'll wait and send that email tomorrow morning. I won't call her. I know it's 9:30, but this question can wait. I know I'm used to being able to call whoever and they answer no matter if it's 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night, they're going to answer. But since they recently said that they were trying to set some boundaries, you know what? I this question can wait until the morning, and that's what I'll do. So you may be surprised and get some more support on your journey.
Yes, I love that. Because I do think that sharing it with your team could also just inspire them to start practicing some of those boundaries as well. Because to be honest, I think a lot of us experience or deal with like the overworking or like not being able to set boundaries sometimes. And
Mhm.
if you can do it, then maybe you can inspire someone else on your team to do it. So I
Yeah.
love that.
I love that you even brought that up. Yes, you're leading by example. So, especially if you're in a place of leadership, if you are the supervisor, you are the team lead, then your team is watching you.
Right.
And if you aren't taking care of your wellness, there is a chance that they're looking at you and they're thinking, like, I can't prioritize my wellness either. That burnout, that burnout leads to people leaving jobs sometimes, right? So then businesses are like, why is our turnover rate crazy? Because
Mm.
people aren't prioritizing their wellness, taking small breaks here or there, using the PTO. So instead, they get to a point where they're just fed up and burned out and they leave. So that's another thing that Dreams and Visions can help with. If you have a small business or any corporation, we can help with making sure that your team is prioritizing wellness so that y'all don't have your retention rate can increase. You don't have to, you don't want to lose your good employees. So any resources that you can give them through wellness is going to help increase their productivity.
Yes, and I love that Dreams and Visions is now offering that. So I hope that everyone is taking notes if you can, or if you're really finding some real value in this. But now I want to ask you, what are, so we talked about like boundaries, obviously. So what are some other habits, like positive habits that we can do to protect our mental health in the workspace?
Okay. So protect so we talked about setting boundaries. What else can you do in the workplace to make sure that you aren't taking those stressors home when you leave, right? So one thing I used to do is I would when I get home, so driving home from work, this when I work outside of the house, now I'm working from home. But when I got into the car and pulled in my driveway, I would take a moment to decompress. I would sit there. I would release. Sometimes that would look like a prayer. Sometimes it would look like me doing some deep breathing. Like I'm going to make sure that I'm not taking this home. I'm creating a separation, even setting a boundary. I'm setting a boundary. Work stressors, you aren't allowed to come home into my house. I'm not taking this
Yeah.
home to my husband and my children. Now, many of us now are working from home, and I had to figure that out once I switched to doing everything completely virtually. So now I have to really set an end to my work day. or else like it'll sneak up on me and I'm like sitting on the couch with the kids still working in my phone. So I have to say, no, I'm cutting off work at 6 p.m. or 5 p.m., whatever time my day may end that day. And I'm not going to take it with me into the other parts of the house. I'm only working in my office. So there's a way for you to still set boundaries and make sure you aren't taking those work stressors into your personal life that way.
Okay. Um, what do you think about taking walks? I know that at my
It's good.
last job, I used to walk around the building sometimes just to take like a mental health break or just to take a break in general. So, do you think that getting outdoors or doing anything in the physical aspect could also help?
Yes, I love that you said that because yes, take a moment and get away from that space where you've been working all day. Let me go walk outside. I know when I worked in corporate America, I would go sit in my car, go in the parking garage and sit in my car. Like I just need to get out of that space that I have been looking at for the entire, 8 hours I've been here. But yeah, so in between, don't let it get to like again a breaking point where I've been at work for 8 hours and now I'm done. I'm overwhelmed. I don't even want to come back tomorrow. No, let's start taking some breaks. 2 hours in, okay, let me go take a walk. 4 hours in, let me take another 5 minutes and get up and stretch. So you can do some quick two, I'm just making up some numbers here, 2 to 5 minute breaks that you are incorporating into your day that can help you to get to the end of the day and not feel like I hate it here.
Right. Yeah. I absolutely agree. Like, don't get to the point where you hate it there. Um, so we kind of touched on this earlier about seeking help, but why do you think it's so tough for people in general, not just working professionals, but just people in general seeking help for mental health, especially like men or people of color? Like, why do you think it's so tough?
Sometimes it's been just like instilled in us to be strong and independent. We were raised that way. That's what we saw our dad do. That's what we watched our mother do. Mom didn't get any breaks and she was fine. So we didn't always have like the examples or someone to tell us that it's okay to get help when you need it. But I encourage you to rewire your brain today and to know that it's okay to get help when you need it. Most mental health professionals, if you are a therapist, you have gone to school for a very long time to be able to help people, to be able to sit in session and help people to process, to identify their emotions, and to work through whatever they're going through. Why not take advantage of the ability to go to a person that can become wise counsel for you, that can give you the solutions that we've already done the research. I've been researching how to heal from X, Y, and Z for 2 decades. Why not come to a session and let me tell you all of the things that I have learned from my research and how you can implement them in your own life? You don't have to go out there and do the 2 decades of research because I have it all in my brain and I can share it with you. So there are tools that can be easily provided in therapy sessions and you just refusing to get that help and you're just saying like, oh no, I don't want to go, you are missing out on a whole benefit that could make your life easier. Y'all, life is going to life be life for all of us. So why wouldn't you take some of the, now I'm thinking in terms of a gamer, a video gamer. I know y'all will get this. Why wouldn't you take the cheat codes? Right? If you know there are ways to do this easier, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. we don't have to feel like we have to figure it out by ourselves. Get the support that you need. If that is talking to a friend, going to therapy, at your job, asking for more wellness events, like, hey, what do we have that I can use? Do whatever you need to, but don't be afraid to ask for the help.
Yes, that is so important. Just ask for the help. It's there. And again, like you mentioned, like there are people who have done the work to help you. So really just lean into that.
Yeah.
So I have a couple more questions. My next one is I know that you've had your practice for a while, but if you could go back to your corporate America days, what kind of advice would you give yourself as a professional?
That's good. That's really good. Okay, so I'm thinking about some of my corporate days, and they weren't necessarily pretty. I was burned out. Um, so I think the one piece of advice that I would give someone is to make sure that your career aligns with your purpose.
Mm,
Think sometimes we're choosing careers and working in areas because, and I get it, like we need to pay to live. Like we have rent, we have car notes, we have all types of bills that we need to pay for. And then you're taking on jobs that you don't really like, but you know you need to some way provide for yourself or your family. So I would encourage someone to take the time, especially if you're a young adult, take the time to figure out how your purpose is going to align with your career. Because if you can get into a career that aligns with your purpose, it's still going to be some work there, but you can always go back to your why and say, oh, I'm here because this is my purpose. I'm here because I love helping people do X, Y, and Z. I'm here because I know that God assigned me to do this. So when you have a why, it makes the hard parts a little bit easier. When you don't have that why and your purpose doesn't align, it can lead to burnout even faster. Because now you're at a job. I don't really like it. I don't want to be here. I don't care about what I'm doing. The quality of work is just going down because I'm just like, I'm gonna do the bare minimum because I don't even want to be here. So if you can avoid having jobs that don't align with your purpose, please do avoid that.
yes, I think that a lot of us struggle with that, to be honest, because most of the time we are hyper focused on can this job meet the needs that I
Yeah.
need, versus is this a part of my passion? Is this a part of my purpose? But I do think just sitting down and really thinking about that
Mhm.
could alleviate some of that stress and burnout when you do walk into the workplace. So that's really great advice. My
Yes.
last question to you is what gives you hope about the future of mental health in the workplace?
What gives me hope is seeing change in my clients.
Okay.
Seeing change in culture in general keeps giving me hope because now we have more people openly talking about therapy than ever before. So what was like kind of a doom dome dome like, oh, you go to therapy, you have
Right.
a therapist, has now been more normalized. Now we still got some work to do, but there are celebrities, there are influencers that talk about their journey in therapy and what they're learning about themselves, and that helps. So that gives me hope that more people are going to come get the tools that they need, and the wise counsel that they need to be able to push through the hard parts. Because life, like I said, life is it be life. So if we have life as a roller coaster and we have no choice. Like there will be some ups and downs. We can't really control that part. But once we get the tools that we need, we can manage that better. So seeing people actually get to my virtual sessions, like having people come into sessions with me, and by the end of it, they're like, oh my goodness, this changed my life. Now I know how to handle this. Now I know how to set boundaries. Now I know how to control my anger. That gives me hope to keep pushing. And that is what keeps me passionate about what I do. So I love seeing the changes in both individuals and families and in the culture in general in America, normalizing going to therapy and not making it seem like a negative thing when you are in therapy services.
Yes, I do think that it has definitely become more normalized, especially just on social media for sure. I've seen more ads than ever before for just mental health services, which is really great to see. And I know that for sure you are making an impact in your clients.
Oh,
So
thank you.
I'm really happy for that. So this was really good. I think this is what everyone needed to hear. Especially we're at the middle of the year. We don't know like if you've been having a good year, a bad year, but we're in the middle of the year, so you still have time to, change the direction in the workplace in regards to your mental health. So I was taking notes, even though I was asking questions, I was taking notes. So I hope you guys were too. So now I do want to open up the floor. If you guys have any questions for Dr. LaShonda or any comments in general, um, I'll open up. So you can come off mute or you can leave it in the chat. I will mention or I'll talk about this. So Sabrina said, I use my PTO for a self-care day. I know that's right because sick days and PTO don't need to no, your employer doesn't need to know what it's for. So I definitely am all for that. Does anyone have any questions?
Do not allow, this is just something that's coming to my head. Don't allow your workplace to negatively impact your entire life. You deserve joy, you deserve peace. And so figuring out what you need to do to change that. And I'm not telling you leave your job, right? But it may be time to start looking for another one. I'm not saying put yourself in a situation where you have no income, but it could very well be time for you to start looking for other ways to not only bring in the finances you need, but also align with your purpose and what you feel passionate about in life, because that can bring down those mental health stressors. So don't allow the workplace and your professional life to negatively impact the whole you.
That reminds me of something I just heard recently, which is something I've kind of known, but I did hear someone speak about it recently, and it was don't get hung up on titles either. So if you are in like corporate America or just any job and you're trying to move up or climb
Mhm.
the ladder, don't get hung up on the titles because
Yeah.
that can also stress you out too.
Yes. And I'll be a little transparent real quick. I have been offered when before I started Dreams and Visions, there were workplaces where I was offered what they said was elevation or a raise, but not necessarily a raise, but a new position, right? A higher level position. And I've turned them down because when I looked at it, what was required of that new position versus the amount of money or time that I would spend meeting those requirements, it didn't work for me and my family.
Mm.
So it's okay to look at a position and say, you know what? No, this is going to have me in a dark place. This is going to drain me. And because I understand me and I know what I need and what makes me feel well, I'll decline. It's okay to do that.
Mhm. Yes. In the chat, Sabrina mentioned, give us some advice on how to set boundaries. I know you mentioned in our conversation reaching out to your team and kind of letting them know the kind of the wellness journey that you're on and seeing if they can support you. Do you want to reiterate some of those ways that you can set boundaries again?
Yeah, so some of the let's get talk about some practical ways to do that too. So what I mentioned earlier was setting cutoff times with emails. So I'm not responding to emails after 6. Some of us will get caught up in doing tasks at work, and next thing we know, we were supposed to get off at 5. It's now 6:30. Be firm in that. Say a boundary. My workday ends at 5 p.m. and therefore I will be leaving the building at 5 p.m. It's okay to set those boundaries. So really, if you are unsure of where to start with setting boundaries, your time is going to be a good place to start. Sometimes we're like coming in early. And if you're doing that to give yourself time to set your day, do that. It's like I'm coming in early to be able to make my coffee, get my workspace set up so I'm comfortable. Do that. Don't allow maybe what looks like emergencies at work or somebody coming in, oh, I got this issue. Don't let that, if you're there early, like I'm not on the clock yet. When I clock in at 8, then I'll come back and help you with your issue. But right now, I'm trying to set the tone for my day, and I'm going to make my coffee, and I'm going to, do whatever I need to in my space, take a moment to pray, deep breathe, whatever that looks like. Value your time enough to begin setting boundaries there.
Yes. Sabrina also said, I guess contrary, or I don't know, Sabrina, let me know if she answered your question or not, but you also said personal boundaries. So I don't know. Okay, she did. Oh, yeah. Thank you for answering her question.
Awesome.
And then Kay mentioned good info, awesome session. Thank you so much. We're really grateful that you were able to gain some value in this because we did think it was going to be a very powerful conversation. So thank you for that.
Yes.
If there are no additional questions, I do want to just kind of reiterate that it is okay to pause. It is okay to ask for help. And it is okay to prioritize your peace, not just in your personal life, but again, as Dr. LaShonda mentioned, like your personal well-being is going to seep into your professional well-being. So it's good to kind of balance both of them. And I do want to mention that if you all are not familiar with Dreams and Visions, we are a mental health provider in the Atlanta, Georgia area. So if you do reside in Georgia, the state of Georgia, we are happy to help you. We have licensed mental health therapists that can help you with healing and with grief, depression, anxiety, all the things. And so we're happy to walk you through your journey. So you can visit us at dreamsandvisionsatl.com. If you're not following us on social media, we're on Facebook and Instagram, Dreams and Visions ATL for both of those. And then I think Dr. LaShonda has a announcement that she wants to leave you guys with.
Yes. Yes. So I have 2 special announcements. Now, my team, y'all don't kill me because I just decided to share some of this. So yeah, my team may not even know about some of the things I'm about to say, but I wanted to offer it here first. So it's 2 things. One, I mentioned that I'm the founder of HEAL, which is a nonprofit organization where we host retreats and workshops, and we have a summit coming up in September. So I just decided this morning the early bird special was supposed to end today. And I decided right before this call, like, I think I'm gonna expand it. I think I'm gonna extend it, I should say, um, to a little bit longer. Now, because I haven't talked to my team yet, I am not sure of the exact day we're gonna end it, but know that it will go past today. So still go get your tickets, healwithdrlashonda.com. But know that we are extending it past today. Once I figure out the day it will end, I will announce that. So you still got time there for the early bird special. And then the other thing I want to announce is that Dreams and Visions will be having its first ever in-person event. Oh my goodness. And so again, my team, don't kill me, because I said I was going to offer this kind of in-house first and see if we would get to capacity with inviting friends and family, just keeping it small and quaint because space is really limited. But I'm going to offer this to you all as well. Now, it's not up yet on the website, but by tomorrow, you can go to dreamsandvisionsatl.com and you will see our first in-person event, which is a mental health spa day. How many of y'all like the spa? Anybody like massages, facials? Is like that's a part of my self-care routine. That's another way you want to think about incorporating if you're stressed out in the workplace. Massages, facials, spa days, those things can help. So if you're stressed out and you were watching this, we already got a whole solution for you. Come to the mental health spa day. It is July the 20th. Let me make sure I'm telling the truth here.
Yes, the 20th.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. July 20th at 3:30 p.m. So again, this will be live on the website by tomorrow. That's how y'all know I'm making like last minute decisions here. It's not even up yet, but it's going to be up by tomorrow. Space is limited. So get there if you want to be in that room and you need a massage. There will be appetizers, some wine if you wanted to relax, apple cider. We'll make sure we have that there as well. So come in, unwind your mind. And this is a great way for you to set boundaries if you are experiencing some stress, not only in the workplace, but just in regular life. I will have a time where you can ask questions too, and we will talk about relaxation techniques.
Yes, I think that was a great announcement to end the call. I'm in Virginia, so I can't come, but if I was in Georgia, I would absolutely be there. Um, but if there's no additional comments or questions, we do want to thank you guys again for taking the time out of your afternoon to join us. This call was recorded, so if you do want to restream it, it's going to be on our YouTube page, which is also at Dreams and Visions ATL, so you can subscribe to that. Other than that, we hope that you guys have a great rest of your afternoon, a great rest of your week, and y'all take care of yourselves.
Bye. Have a good
Thank
day.
you. You too.
Bye.